Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I always like to check that I'm on before I start talking. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. It is not morning. It's, oh my God, once again, I get caught up in doing things. And it's way past 12. Good afternoon. Hello. How's everyone doing? I am having coffee. I am out of creamer, so that sucks. But my daughter made me a coffee today, and she used like this hot chocolate powder in it, which is good. I really appreciate it. She's thoughtful. I have coffee with hot cocoa powder in my chocolate. In my coffee. How's everyone doing today? I hope good. I have an important topic I really want to talk about today. I don't think this one will be long, actually. I always say that and end up going long, but it won't be long today. I got a few things to do. Hey, Rochelle. Thank you for joining. I have to fill out some applications and just finish things that I need to do. I did a lot this morning, but I need to continue that. Need to get a new job, and soon. So how are you all? Thank you for tuning in. I have a really important topic I'd like to talk about today. It won't be long. I'm going to get off of here pretty quick. But it's just an important point that I really, really, really have to make. And not that, I'm an expert or anything, but as I get older, this is just so important that I tell other people. And life's a learning process, right? So it doesn't matter how old you are, because some people come around at different times, some people come around earlier. But when we talk about relationships, and I don't mean just with significant others, I mean everyday relationships. Hold on, let me make sure one second. Sorry, guys. Yep. Okay. Sorry about that. Had to make sure I put something away. When we talk about relationships in general, I don't care if it's with a significant other, family. It could be anybody, friends, coworkers, acquaintances you deal with on a regular. It doesn't matter. Thank you all for joining, by the way. But I feel it's so important to talk things out. And I don't mean that, that's so obvious, right? But I don't think people really put this into perspective enough. If we are talking to someone, let's say we're just getting to know someone, and we're sharing our views and opinions, right? Usually when you first try to get to know someone, you're interested in listening. And sometimes people aren't that great at listening. They are more so great talkers. And I think what we need to get better at is being aware of listening, and also asking questions, and asking questions that really get to what you want to know. Not basic, questions are good in general to learn, right? That's what we're taught at a young age. And some people are taught to not ask questions, but I think it's smart to ask questions. That's how children learn. That's how are you supposed to know what you haven't experienced? How are you supposed to know what you haven't been enlightened on? So I think that makes sense in our everyday lives, whether it's a business relationship, a romantic relationship, a friendship, any kind of, when you're dealing with people that, how do I say it, that you really want to communicate with and you really want to understand. A lot of times, what's the reason we have conflicts? Because there wasn't communication. Someone may have done something you don't agree with. It could be so small. Like, let's think of an example. You text someone you're in a relationship with, they don't answer. Some people get upset. Some people don't give them time. They're not patient. They don't wait. That person could have been in the middle of something with their child. They could have been doing something for work. They could have been on a phone call with a doctor. And this other person here is impatient, thinking, you're ignoring me. It's like, no, I'm not ignoring you. I was actually busy and didn't get your text until just now. Which happens a lot. Life happens. And although a lot of people constantly carry their phones, not everybody does. And sometimes you are genuinely busy. So my point is, I use that example because ask what's up, what happened, talk it out. If it's logical, it makes sense, right? You don't want to just jump the gun and be like, this person did this. It goes into so many situations, different upbringings. Someone may say something in a different way than you would. Someone might talk to you in a way where you think they have an attitude, and they may not. Maybe that's just what they're used to hearing. Not saying it's okay. I mean, you can always, that's why I'm saying talk it out. Like, hey, I asked you a question, you kind of snapped at me, are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. I didn't mean to snap at you, I'm fine. Maybe that's just how they're used to talking because that was their upbringing and that's how their house was. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying you have to accept everything. I'm saying to talk it out and listen to that person's point of view or perspective helps way more than just to assume and be angry at someone. It goes in so much, so much. It goes into our communities. It goes into society's thoughts of things. It does. Don't judge someone don't judge someone at all, but know their story. Know there's probably reason. There's a difference between excuses and reasons, by the way. If you bring something to someone's attention, this is where the listening comes in, on the other party's part, and you explain to them that, look, this really hurt or upset me, or hey, I have someone close to me that this is, this is why this hits home for me. Could you please not do that? Or could, whatever the case may be. It's just being respectful of people, and the main thing is listening and communicating that it bothered you. Also communicate good things. Hey, I appreciated that you checked on me. I love when you text me at night to see if I'm okay. Communicate good things as well. Let people know you appreciate the small gestures because it's important. And then when sometimes people may not think. For me, a big rule, if you leave my house, always say bye, or if we leave each other's presence, say bye. Because we never know, whether that's a coworker, a friend, especially a family member. Please don't ever leave without saying goodbye. So I voice that because you just never know if, it's not always a bad thing, but you don't know what could happen when you walk out the door. That's why I don't like to go to bed angry, leave angry, anything like that. So I just feel that it's best in all situations, I would say most, but I think all, to talk things out. When things are just plain unreasonable and people are just being assholes, that's something totally different. Because they're intentionally doing something and it's disrespectful. That's different. But I'm talking you guys have an issue, talk it out. It's all communication. It's listening as well as, it doesn't mean you have to agree. Because look, let's say we have different opinions. especially as a couple. If you have a different opinion, it's good to talk it out, get it out on the table. Express why you feel the way you do, but also let the other person express why they feel the way they do. And respect that. That's what being a grown, respectable adult is. Hearing someone out doesn't mean you have to accept it, but maybe we can come to an understanding of why that person feels the way they do. And if you don't care enough to, well, then that's just sad, because you'll have a better quality of life. I think we all would, if we listened and communicated better. And that's just my point at the end of the day. So I'm not going to stay on here. I have a lot to do, a lot of important things to do today. But I do really feel that communication is key. And even though that sounds cliche, it's logical. It really is. And for people like me who are thinkers, sometimes too analytical, it's good to talk things out, because you don't want to just think and never assume. Assuming is the worst thing you can do. It's true. It's true what they say. You don't want to do that. What if some people, for an example, I'm a very communicative person. I like to talk things out. I'm emotional. I'm affectionate. I'm all of these things, and I'm not just talking a relationship. I mean, with my children, in general, I have a loving heart. So I might get hurt if I think that, or not even hurt, but like just kind of concerned if I think you're upset with me and I'm not sure why. Therefore, if we talk it out, and it's not babying, it's not that, it's just like, nah, it's fine, I'm just really busy. Or, oh, I didn't mean to come off like that. It's just that, for whatever the case may be, is communication. And it doesn't mean that you have to walk on eggshells with someone like me. No, I like blunt and upfront, period. In all things, I really do. And someone explained to me, I've heard this throughout, my adulthood, but that little white lies are okay sometimes, depending on what it is. Someone gave me a perfect example. If they said they were coming, but they stopped somewhere to maybe go get a gift from me or something like that, or, something that's harmless like that. It's fine. Doesn't mean you have to tell all your business. No, but when it's involving the other person, it's respect to communicate. And that's all I'm saying. I think it makes for a more well put together, mature individual to be able to communicate not only their concerns or feelings. A lot of us are taught, especially men in our community, Black and Hispanic, to be strong, which means suck it up. You can't feel, don't cry. That is not true. Communicate that you were hurt. Don't get angry and pick a fight. Say, hey, that was messed up. It doesn't mean you have to go begging for nobody's apology or anything, because you're not going to do that. But it means you're going to communicate what you feel happened and get it out on the table. And a lot of times, somebody's not going to like what you have to say, but it's out on the table. It's out there. Do what you will with it. It's respect. You may not like what I'm having to say, but you respect that I'm saying it, because it's real. Everybody talks about being real, but they'd rather act tough like something didn't hurt them, or they'd rather act like they don't care, because it's like a defense mechanism. It's it's protecting yourself, and it's also showing, oh, I'm strong, quote unquote. It's a facade. And what happens? More anger builds up, or more hurt gets buried. And then what? In the long run, yeah, you might say oh, I don't care, but you do care. You do care, because then it comes out in anger. And a lot of times behind anger is hurt. It's frustration. It's unspoken words. It's okay to talk. It's okay to feel. And you're not demasculated, or whatever the word is. You're no less of a man. You're more of a man, in my opinion, if you can actually express, or a woman, if you can actually express, what you said affected me. What you did or what you didn't do affected me. And, again, they may not agree with it. Number one, you'll feel better that it's out there on the table. And two, it'll make them think. Even if they don't, within that moment, you've planted that seed, and you've also shown somebody how to respect you. This person's going to tell me how you feel. How many people do you guys know? You know they're real. They're not going to play around. They're going to tell you how they feel. And you respect that. Period. You may not always like what they have to say, but you respect it. And then there are those people that are loving. And what do? You love those people, because it's like they're not afraid to show you love. They're not afraid to say, hey, I miss you. It doesn't make you any less strong because you are voicing what you feel and having someone hear you. The world would be a better place, I'm telling you. If we all could listen and truly communicate, I honestly feel that this world would be a better place. It honestly shows, because look, even in different countries, we all have different cultures, we're brought up differently. Doesn't mean good or bad. It doesn't. It's perspective. I get really passionate about this, but look, it's very healthy to listen and communicate, to listen and to communicate your concerns, your thoughts, your feelings. Also, it's self-worth, and it's respecting others. It's showing yourself that, your self-respect, but it's also giving others respect. We don't always have to agree, but listening to each other could change a whole lot of things, I promise you. So if you have something to say, life is too short. Get it off your chest. Be respectful about it. Because it's not always what you say, it's how you say it. So think about it before you speak. Another thing is, don't speak when you're angry. Don't speak when you're extremely emotional. Be rational. But do talk about your feelings and do talk about your concerns. And not only that, be willing to listen to the other side, because they deserve the same respect you do. And there may be situations where this person hurt you in a disgusting way, then that may be different. But you know what I'm saying. In a generalized, everyday kind of thing, like, it's good to listen and receive it. Doesn't mean you have to agree. Doesn't mean you have to change your opinion or views, and you shouldn't unless it's logical and it makes sense to you. Judgment. You're old enough to know right from wrong and what works for you and what doesn't. And sometimes what works for you is not going to work for me. We're taught that at an early age, right? And that's okay. What difference is it going to make if someone has a different opinion? If it's not imposing in your life, if it's not affecting you somehow, we can have different opinions. What's wrong with that? Imagine how boring the world would be if we didn't. Literally, it would. But talk it out. It's a good thing. Don't forget to listen. Go back and forth. Ask questions. Answer questions, that make things more clear. So, anyways, thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. I love you all so much. Thank you for your time. And I'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.